Hello Leo, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm preparing here for your reading. I feel like I should shuffle on camera, I don't know why, but that's just doesn't really matter. It's the same procedure anyway. So Leo, interesting, let's have a look here. So I'm just preparing, shuffling here. I get this feeling of definitely some kind of changes in the energy because, well, in New Age community and so on, we talk about this age of Aquarius, that we are entering the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is your opposite sign, Leo. So there can be something about opposition in the way energies work, or well, a lot of the things I do on my channel, and which has been my spiritual awakening and my journey, is to understand different angles, so that we are all different people, and it's like we are somehow viewing the world from a special angle, depending on, well, what I believe is your core, and then what you have learned and adapted to, and maybe something you've given up, something you have learned, something you have acquired. And you're looking from that perspective, right? And we all do that, and we are quite different. And understanding each perspective, that has been my journey somehow, right? And my Mars is in Aquarius, so I may, like this whole idea of even wanting to understand, even wanting to see things from different perspectives, as opposed to only seeing it from your own. And not caring about the others, right? That could be a perspective that is a difference between you and someone else, perhaps. In one sense, Leo can be seen, and this is of course not for all Leos, right? Okay, let me have a look. Do I want to put it here? Yeah, I think I do. It's like Leo has enormous strength. Like, you are so strong, Leo, right? And you are masculine, you fit in this world. This world favors masculine energy, so you fit in this world. You would be able to thrive here. Like that, the world is designed for Leos, I want to say. It's designed for people like you. If you feel like you stand strongly in your Leo energy. If you're my channel, maybe you don't. Like, maybe something happened to this Leo energy, and that's why you do not feel that this energy is in the strongest position. If you have a happy, healthy, rich, abundant life, you are probably not on my channel. So I may be reading for Leos in this case who have been feeling maybe too much where you grew up. Like, maybe you were asked to dim yourself down, which is not conducive to a Leo energy. It actually has to be magnificent and big and take up space, right? But maybe that's not what you have learned. It's not what has been like wanted. It's not what you were given, perhaps. That could be the reason why you're here, where you find my channel. So we can have a look at that. So I want to go back to this idea of Leo can become very big because it centers its energy around the project that it wants to like build. So something, Leo can make it big because it focuses its energy on one particular thing, right? And it wants to build this and magnetize it and make it like expand it, right? Aquarius energy, and I feel like there is something about like this opposite or something, that Aquarius energy is different. It's your opposition, so of course it's different. Aquarius energy is like, Aquarius is known to be the 11th house. We talk about groups here, or we talk about society, we talk about humanity. So there's something about seeing, you could say, a project equally to yours perhaps, but the viewpoint of Aquarius is different. It can be very big as well, but it's not necessarily for Aquarius alone. It could be for the masses. You know, like the intention behind what you're building can be very different, and therefore the drive, the core, the intention behind it is different. So there can be something about I don't know if you're dealing with someone who just sees the world very differently than you, or they may not understand your intentions, or you may not understand theirs, right? Not to say that Leo cannot build something that can be for the masses. Of course you can. But I think that Leo would never build something where they cannot also have fame or abundance themselves. Like that would be important to Leo, to somehow get the fame, get the spotlight, get the followers, get the riches or the money or something. Get the power, and in this masculine world we know that money and time is power, right? Leadership, control, being in charge, that is favored in this world. It's a competitive world, and those who are very strong, they will stand on the top. They will be the winners. But we know with every competition there will be a winner and a loser. Even if you are a Leo, you could lose. You could be the one who didn't get to the pedestal. And this is frustrating, I think, for a Leo, right? It can be a never-ending story. Maybe you're dealing with someone where you feel like you can't win, or you can't have the upper hand, or you can't be the leader, or you can't, be the one in charge or something. Like the world we live in that favors it, it's a masculine world created for men, or made by men for men, or masculine energy. So masculine energy would thrive more in this world than feminine energy is doing. Feminine energy is very hidden still. For those who favor control and dominance and leadership, I guess they like it like that. But as I say, it could be that you're dealing with someone who just doesn't like, you come from different worlds, right? Or to be able to negotiate something, let's say you have a colleague. I feel like someone else, like there's something else you have a ping pong with or something. And this other thing or person they don't think like you. Their intentions are not like you. They are different. But you know, sometimes different is not necessarily bad. It's just different. Maybe it intrigues you. Maybe you find it mysterious. Maybe you find it interesting. For a Leo on the spiritual journey, like who has gotten to a point in their life where they may have manifested the money, they may have gotten the job, they may have everything in order, you know, they still need something to engage with. Some Leos turn to spirituality, religion. Some seek some kind of inner, not just outer proof, but also an inner sense of proof of the Leo greatness, you could say. The Leo power, to hold the power within, not just, you know, like proving the power with external stuff, but actually holding the power within. When it comes to that stage of Leo development, I believe that it's more like the outside proof is no longer as important. It becomes more of an inner power journey, an inner molding of that energy. But I don't think that it's the first choice for Leo. I think that most Leos, they try to establish the outer, like the outer proof first. And then later on they may stop some of this. Even, you know, Leos that retire, like retirement, then it becomes a different journey for Leo. But let's have a look what we have here. Serpent. Yeah, it's like when I look at this card, because it's like these are snakes, but there are two, and one is going in one direction and one is going in the other direction. And then it's like there is this, I actually see the sun in the background, so this could be you, right? And you could be witnessing something here. Like you stand here and you're looking at it. You could be witnessing. Now I get something about like a snake shifting their skin. You know, it could be something like you could be a witness to something that goes on with the serpent. Whatever this serpent is. And you just stand in the background. It could be almost something like you just stand there and it's like you have no say. You can't do anything about it. Or you see, like, it could be two people that split up, you know, like one goes in one direction and one is the other, and you just stand here and you can't do anything about it. You could, you know, like, it could be something like these could be friends of yours, right? And they split up. It could be like a change in a dynamic that where it's like there is a division created. Or again, as I just said, like Aquarius energy Aquarius would normally view a situation from the viewpoint of how can everybody be more comfortable here? What can I do to somehow make others feel a little more comfortable here? Is that possible? Or what is needed in a situation to make something a little more comfortable so that they don't go in different directions here, right? So that they are not splitting up. Or that we can all be here I can be here, you can be here, and you can be here, or even others. There are wings here also, which doesn't apply to either you as a fire sign or the serpents. Like the serpents don't have wings. So I get almost a feeling like like the shifting of someone shifting their skin, like it could literally be in front of your eyes, like you're witnessing. Like these could be your children, right? That they're kind of just growing apart. Maybe they used to be close friends and now you see like this, like growing apart, or you're witnessing someone shifting skin or shifting into a different, and you just kind of stand there and you can really not do anything about it. Like witnessing someone go through some kind of change. The serpent is also a different creature than you. It moves in a different way, right? It has no legs. It moves in a different way. It has a different strategy about the world. It is an entirely different species from you, right? So it says here, the serpent is the life force of Mother Earth. The coiled serpent of the Kundalini brings passion, healing, and renewal. She offers us the fruit of the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden and reminds us to shed the past the way she sheds her tired old skin. Yeah, that's what I feel like. There's something about shedding this old skin. Serpent comes to offer you the forbidden fruit that will set your passion and creativity free. When you shed the past gracefully, life will not strip it away with great drama. Indeed, this is something you want to avoid. Do not use your energy to seduce others or allow yourself to be seduced even by your own ideas. The serpent power of the Kundalini is stirring within your chakras, gently asking you to embrace the mystery, shed the old skin that you have been so attached to, and welcome the vulnerable pink underbelly that will bring you a fresh experience of life. Your passion and sexuality are awakening, and this can be scary. Trust the wisdom of serpent to transform your sensual energies into beautiful original manifestation. I still get this feeling of almost like you stand here and you're watching something like that happen in someone else. So this could be like watching, like a child growing up. And suddenly it's like, they have their own voice. Suddenly, the shoulders get broader. They grow beard. They have deep, dark, different changes to their voice. The girls get breasts and they get menstruation cycles and things like that. Almost like watching something growing out of its skin and becoming different, embracing a different energy, or like adapting to a different energy. Of course, it can be you, right? That you are in this process somehow. I got like the word for this round of reading that kind of embodies every part of this is something about individuating, something about becoming your own person, or like this is not just a child you're witnessing. No, they are becoming their own person. So it's like you can't just look at your children like they are this extension of you, right? They are actually their own person, and growing into becoming that person. That could be what you're witnessing here. Like you could be witnessing someone or something as speak for itself, like it has this voice of itself that you may never have realized. Like you may never have realized what they actually know, how they see the world, or that they do have boundaries or something. That there's something they don't want to do. Or that, as I said, it was something like don't be necessarily seduced by other people's ideas, but also not impose your own ideas on others. Like again, they are shifting here perhaps into like their own version, their own. It could be this like I get that. That's what I feel like a transformation almost in front of your eyes, right? That someone is suddenly standing there with like a totally different, maybe autonomy or like integrity or something, right? That there's a change going on, shedding old skin. Of course, it can be yourself also. It could almost be like you're witnessing yourself transforming something. All kinds of, feelings come up, more fire come up. Sexuality is a fire. It's a creative power. And there could be this feeling of like a shift or something that comes in, that kind of, maybe it asks you to shift skin. Like maybe it asks you to embrace something else. The book talks about the soft pink underbelly, a softness or a different kind of. As I said, the serpent is very different than Leo energy normally is. So there is an invitation to open the door to something else here, or embrace it in some way here. So we get the Ace of Cups here. Ace of Cups is usually what I see like a self-care card, a self-loving card. It's filling up your own cup. Again, it can be that you are realizing that someone has been doing this. Like they have been filling up their own cup, their own confidence, their own, like self-care, self-love here. And you're witnessing them having a transformation here. Embracing something else, right? But it can be you as well. Like maybe you have been in a process where you have been going through maybe an emotional time of healing, or needing to see things from a different perspective, perhaps realizing something in your life. Sometimes this shedding of the old skin can be, as I said, if a Leo is retiring, or if you get sick, perhaps, or something happened that dramatically shifts your perspective. Let's say you lose someone in your life, right? Like dramatic things that may happen that is somehow influencing your current state of being. I instantly I'm drawn to the fish that kind of circles this cup, right? And the fish are it's a very gentle, spiritual, intuitive kind of energy. Like maybe you have had someone around you here, a person perhaps, or just, a wish to take a step back and be very gentle and very kind to yourself, and very stepping into more spiritual and intuitive teachings to fill up your cup here. But again, this can also be someone else. As I said, maybe you're witnessing someone who is doing this, like who is interested in this, and because of that they change their skin. They become different. They are different. They stand with a different energy, frequency, perhaps here. I get almost like, again, it's like you stand here in the background and something else is going on in the foreground. So this is like something that steals the spotlight. You know, it's in the forefront. This is what the spotlight hits, not you. It hits something else here. The spotlight is meeting this before you. So again, a Leo that is put in a second position after, you know, it could be a request here from someone. A request that says, but I am all about spiritual awakening. I'm all about my process. It could be your own spiritual process that is in the forefront. That your normal Leo ways of doing things, it's kind of in the background. This we could talk about a Leo that is learning about humility. Again, with the Pisces energy here, very watery, very gentle, very, very kind, a kind understanding about yourself or others here. And filling up the cup, right? That there's someone here in the foreground that kind of their process is taking up the room. Again, you could have a partner here who is going through something. Like maybe they are, you know, if you have a spouse who is very ill, you see them change in front of you. You may see them get more and more sick or more and more ill or something. And it's like your needs or your, you know, like your needs of, you know, like, I don't know, let's say you become this husband who takes care of your sick wife, right, at home, and she is bed resting and she can't get out of the bed or something like that. Then you become this, like your energy is now put into the home and into the caretaking. But you know, for a Leo, I guess this would not be a satisfactory thing to do in the long term, like for many years. So I see it's like something that changes in front of you, and you are kind of watching it, but you stand behind it, right? This can also talk about a choice, right? That the reason why I talk about it stands behind it is literally because you back it. Like maybe you love it. Like maybe you like this. Maybe you like this transformation in someone. Maybe you like to see what this is. Maybe you like to see them do their thing here. This can be very spiritual. It can be very intuitive. Maybe there's, you know, like clairvoyance. Maybe someone is going through a process where they are opening up, you know, certain psychic skills. And the reason why you stand here in the background is because you love it. Like maybe you are intrigued by it. And you stand here as a guard. You stand here as a supporter. You have decided to stand here in the background to support it, to help it, to be of assistance here. That can also be what this is. That you kind of you could be this, like you could be intrigued by this. You could be intrigued by what this other person can do, what they are and what they can do, and maybe because you care about them here, right? again, when we have snakes that are kind of, they are different polarities, they go in different direction. As I said with Aquarius can handle that. Like they can handle like different oppositional energies. Right? They are not necessarily judgmental. If you judge them, they probably will judge you. But if you're not judging them, they will not judge you. So it could be that you are intrigued by this. Like maybe this idea that someone can be a witness of everyone else's, angle of the world. Maybe that's intriguing to you here. Like maybe you find that interesting or inspiring or something. And you're kind of just witnessing it. And I think for some reason, I feel like it's a process with a lot of care and self-care and love and a lot of emotions. There could be a lot of emotional healing here. Ace of Cups can also be like this is a new feeling, perhaps. Aces usually talk about a new commitment, a new choice of care or love or devotion. And it's from a very, very kind place, I want to say. It's like it circles in a very kind and loving way. The cup here. The cup that is overflowing with love here and beauty and healing and care. And this could have been you, right? That you may have been in a process where you have tapped into some very gentle, maybe a bit, like maybe this process of self-care needed to be very gentle. Like maybe you had to handle yourself or someone with a lot of gentle care here. And standing here, in the background like a support system, and just witnessing that something is, I feel like maybe it literally does this, like as the book says, like maybe it literally changes its skin and shows you their pink underbelly. The pink, maybe a bit vulnerable underbelly. That could be what this also is. Like the shifting is maybe you get to witness something, right? You get to witness someone else's pink underbelly in a process here. It could be your own pink. I get like if the fish is usually very, it's gentle, it's not forceful, it's compassionate, it's the pace is slow. That it's a very because if you come in too quickly here with the fish, they are off, right? Fish like that, right? If it becomes too, they won't circle here unless you treat them as, it has to be a very calm water, no threats, no sharks here, otherwise they're gone. They're gone. For this to circle and keep circling here and be invested, it has to be very gentle, very calm. The pace is right. There's no sharks here. There is enough nurture and everything here for the fish to stay. It's slow. It's that they something. Otherwise, the fish are gone. So this could definitely also talk about really needing to treat yourself with that kind of energy or someone else. because that is not your normal energy, right? Your normal energy would be way more forward moving. There's much more fire. There's much more go-getter energy. This feels like you are more stagnant, actually standing in the background, just holding the fort, you know? For someone to make this change. Or maybe you're witnessing them, you know, like standing there and making this change. And the reason why they do that is because you stand there, right? Because you are invested. I feel like, have a look at the Cancer reading. I talked a bit like a Cancer who is thinking about someone, and there was a King of Fire there, King of Wands there. I mentioned Leo energy. It didn't have to be Leo, but you know, Leo has a certain power, and if someone could hold the fort, the Cancer could do something. You know, they could do something. So I don't know if it's Cancer energy, but it's definitely very gentle, and it needs a fort, you could say, to like keep the parameter up while I'm kind of doing something here. So it could be that you embrace this, like maybe you love it, like maybe you like that, because it definitely shows the difference, right? Like it shows that whatever is going on here, whatever transformation is here, whether it's in you or someone you witness, I get more like someone you witness, I feel like. They need you, right? They need you to kind of be there, right? For this to happen somehow. And so they need a support and a will. They need an open mind, perhaps. They need you to embrace something that you may not know. Maybe it's not your priority, but they need it from you, you could say. So this is a very special way to be needed for a masculine Leo energy. Needed for something very special here. For something to go through its change. You know, like if maybe, you know, like maybe it's a well, it can be anything, but you know, when if parents split up, like it can create an uncertainty within the children, for instance, right? So you could say for something to evolve, perhaps even just from a child into a teenager and go through puberty and something, it needs a certain kind of stability around it, right? For this to, you know, be okay. Like a Leo can hold the fort. It also means you can have discussions within the family. It means that you can, because Leo can hold it, right? Like if they truly stand in their power, they are never threatened, really. Not about their integrity, right? They would never be threatened. Not about the kind of power they have. It doesn't mean that there are different kind of powers. There is water power and air power. But you know, the integrity of the Leo would never be questioned. You would own it. And it means you can you can hold a fort for someone else to go through their change. Like a child in puberty, for instance, like if they can go through that individuation process, if they can go through from being 10 years old to being 19, that process of getting to know who they are, the body change, they get their independent meanings. They may not think the same way as you, but you know that, like, one of the reasons why they get to individuate, how to get their own personality, is that you stay and you hold the fort. You let them change. You let them become their own person, like you are. Like you are your own person, you let someone else, in the grace of your power, become who they are. right? To feel safe in the environment they are in, even though they stand in front of something that is very different than them, that they can shift their skin and grow and become more and more of what they are, even though it's different than you, because you have power, integrity to hold that easily. Unless you don't. Unless you don't have that. If you do not have that inner power, it's not well in place, then you would probably see this as a problem. Like they are a challenge to you, right? That this is a challenging thing. But if you do own that power, they cannot, like, whatever they are doing here, whatever transformation they go through, or whatever individuation they are trying to, grow into, it's not challenging you. Like, it will never be. It may be different, but it has nothing to do with you if you own your power. The problem is if you don't, right? If you don't own your power, if you don't know what you are, or who you are, what you're driven by, what your priorities are. And again, they could have different priorities here. They could have different needs. As I say, this can be a water element you have here. It could be any other kind of type here. But they may be different than you. And if they go through a change here and you're kind of just witnessing it, it's like it has to happen, right? Every soul has to, develop and grow and have their own experiences. So it can be that either you feel like you are forced to hold the fort and you hate it, like the sick spouse at home, sick with whatever is there. I said you could have a look at the cancer reading. I really don't hope we are dealing with cancer here, like the illness of cancer. But if you get my point, you get the picture of that, like someone who is very ill, who has a terminal illness, for instance, and you are somehow now this spouse who is kind of forced to stay there. But it could also be that this has nothing to do with an illness at all. This can be just some kind of transformation going on, and maybe you are intrigued by it. Like maybe you really want to support it, help it. You want it to grow, or you want it to have the best options for whatever this is. It could be that you become a very supportive parent of a child that is going through a transformation, a teenager that is going through a transformation process, even though they are very different than you. Like maybe you back it, like you stand in the background to back it up, right? To give it I've got you here, right? Just do your thing, right? Do your thing, and I have your back, right? Maybe you love them. Maybe this is a new love, right? Maybe you have fallen in love with someone here who is quite gentle, perhaps, who is like the fish, and you just know, but I can offer something. I have a sense of strength. I can back this up. I can be there while you go through an operation, perhaps, or I can be your friend while you blah blah something. Or I choose to be here for you, right? I choose to be here for you because you are going through something. So on the other side here, I get justice here. Yeah, this is so interesting again here. Look at this, how there is this, what I would say, the sun in the background here. And then it feels a bit like a butterfly, right? It's almost like you can see the wings of from the snake here. And then it pops out, it's like a hatching. And then she stands here, This is Libra energy, justice. This is someone who is growing into like being a justice, we can talk about the law system. Maybe someone is, like they are going through an education perhaps here, becoming a lawyer, or and you can see slowly and surely how they are transforming in front of you, right? How they are transforming. The more they study, the more they know, the more they can bring to the table, the more they can actually handle, From being just a little child you had at home, now they stand here as a full-blown lawyer, handling cases at court or something. Or they are a judge here, someone going through, an appointment to become a judge, and you're supporting it, like you stand in the background and back it up, that someone is changing and molding something here, going through like this shift. It feels almost like a caterpillar, right? That the butterfly comes out of the caterpillar. That she here is the one who is in here going through something, and she is now coming out, like, and stands here full-blown judge, you could say, or a voice that is speaking justice, right? That is speaking about fairness, that is speaking about the equaling out of scales. So you could be witnessing someone going through a process where they build their own voice, They build a different identity. They become from the caterpillar that we may, that's how we may see children, right? That they are in this cocoon somehow. We protect them, while they are still children. And then it's like, at some point, it's like they do individuate, right? They suddenly become more of ready to be the butterfly that can kind of just spread its wings and fly off here, or speak its own voice, like its own identity. It may be different than yours. Children are not an extension of you. They may be very different than you. And this is one of the greatest things that I believe that family dogma and family systems are actually not embracing. That sometimes within the family we have dynamics that are really not seeing each other. Like they don't accept each other, right? It's difficult for sometimes also parents to let go of the cocoon. Sometimes they want to keep the children in the cocoon. And maybe you see someone struggle here to get out of the cocoon, and you may try to keep them in, You may still want to have control if they live under your roof, for instance, right? If they live under your roof, perhaps you would like to still have the control, be the leader, be the one in charge. But you are somehow witnessing here, again, she stands in front of him. I see that very clearly here, right? With the sun in the background here and the sun in the background. It's like she stands in front of the sun, which is not, I would say, in a masculine world, not normal. So I get a feeling of like a Leo here that is supporting someone else's change, perhaps, or is supporting another energy to step into maybe power, or step into their real voice or real identity. It means that for a Leo, they have to put their own agenda aside for a moment and actually support someone else's move forward. I think every parent does that, right? But it may not be, for Leos who may want to be in the foreground, you know. It must be because of love. It must be because you love them. Because you love them. You want to be, you know, like the cocoon that kind of, while they are growing or maturing or becoming ready, they are in the caterpillar, you just kind of, you know, it's like it's there, you know. It could be a sense of giving back. Like this energy you have here, maybe they were the Pisces here. Maybe they were the gentle care for you once, so that you could grow, so that you could become the Leo you are, so that you could stand on your own 2 feet. And now it's like you give back. Like you realize, I want to give some of this back because someone needs it. Like they are going through some kind of change here. It can be an inner change, that a part of you needs stimulation, right? A part of you needs to burst out of the cocoon. It could be that, you know, yeah, you are Leo energy, but you are maybe more than that. Or there's more to your Leo energy. As I said, sometimes spirituality comes in, sometimes religion comes in. Something that wants to balance something. Justice is usually always about the balancing of scales. Libra energy, it can be Venus, a feminine energy here, where you are the masculine. Where Leo is the masculine, again, depending on, let's say you have a Leo sun, and you have a feminine moon sign, for instance. Or you have a feminine, in this case, maybe Venus. Libra is ruled by Venus. Maybe a Venus sign that is very feminine. So it means that you have different energies in you. Of course, we have both yin and yang in us. And maybe there's a need to embrace something here, or to give back, or to be present for something here, to have a say, to unfold itself, to grow, to get out of the caterpillar, to show its real wings, to show the real beauty or knowledge here. Libra is air energy, so there could be a voice, knowledge, as I said, education, just meanings about the world, another worldview perhaps, an identity here. Yeah, I get a feeling of someone who is changing. Something or someone is changing and you are kind of witnessing it. You could be choosing to. Like you could choose to kind of back this. You know, like I stand here with my warmth and I just support this. I'm supporting a change somehow. So maybe within my children, maybe within my spouse, maybe because, well, Leo is known to be generous also, right? So as long as it keeps its power up, it can be very generous. It can be a great benefactor, a giver, you know, who wants to support something. But I think it's because there's something here that either you have been working on or you're realizing something here that you care. The Ace of Cups is like maybe a new experience, a new understanding, maybe a new connection, maybe here. A new connection to, or a new child, again. The birth of a new child, perhaps. And it may require something of you. It may change your entire life. That child may, you know, if let's say it's a special child, a special needs child, and it changes something. You know, it goes through different kinds of maybe difficulties or changes, and you are kind of just needing to witness this growth or witness this change within them. And it's asking for some kind of balance here. Something that is more balanced, more fair. Justice has a scale and a sword. Sometimes the sword can indicate, like a judgment, a ruling, literally, from the from a judge, from the legal system. But this can also just be a sharp tongue, someone suddenly they have literally in front of your eyes changed into like a full-blown teenager with their own voice, their own meaning, their own stubbornness perhaps, or their own, like they want to build their own integrity. They want to be able to have like they're testing within that. Children do that. They test within the boundaries here of the safety of the family. How far can I go, right? How far can I go with my meanings? How much can I pounce my parents? Where is the limit, right? And teenagers, they test this also. They argue, they slam the door, they curse, they shift their wardrobe, suddenly they are goth, because they want to make a statement or something. And they want to see if you are still holding the boundary for them, if you're still there. Are you still there? Even though I bounce against you, I box you, right? Are you still there somehow? Because then I can develop into my own identity here. I can do that because you are there, right? I become this full-blown Libra perhaps here. Maybe you're dealing with a Libra also, a Libra child, or maybe parent, or a child, or spouse or something. It's something about, I feel like it comes across to me as a feminine energy, because Libra is ruled by Venus, a feminine energy that wants to hatch, I feel like. It's like it wants to hatch. And it needs a certain kind of support system perhaps here. An awareness that there's something here to back this or to be there. While I do my thing here, while I'm getting out of the caterpillar, or out of the cocoon, I become the caterpillar here. I spread my wings. I stand here now as a full-grown woman, perhaps. So I'm no longer the daughter, the 8-year-old daughter, right? I'm actually a full-blown, individuated, autonomous woman here, speaking my truth or my voice, right? I asking for asking for equality or fairness. Yeah, so this is kind of what I have here. Let's have a look at, I want to have the bottom of the deck for this one, Taming the Wild. So interesting. Again, you see here at the bottom of the deck, I get the Taming of the Wild. So this is like a previous state that leads to this. So that could have been someone here who was trying to tame something. But I get the feeling that they kind of need this. Like they kind of need this to go through the transformation, or the taming of the wild could indicate like we see in the background, I don't know if you can see it, but in the background there's just this little brown kind of planet or orb. And maybe this little planet or orb didn't support this taming, or this change, or this temper, Taming the wild can talk about like a wilderness, a chaos that is you may be trying, or someone has been trying to tame their own wilderness, but they can't really do it without testing it on someone else, you could say. Or I think it's also difficult to individuate if you have no one to individuate from, Like I don't think you can do it alone all the time, right? That sometimes you need something to be, I wouldn't say up against, but you need something to, pounce perhaps. Otherwise you can't individuate necessarily. It becomes a bit more hollow, or not a real experience. So I don't know if someone have had a crutch, what's that called? They've had a problem with you, perhaps. They may not have, or problem. Again, how can I say this? It's very much a confidence thing. Like here, it may feel like wanting to tame something, tame wild ideas, or want to do something wild or crazy, but you don't have the confidence to like do it, or like confront it or something. And here you do. Like here you are going into the lion's cave, I want to say, or someone is going into your lion's cave, and they're doing so because they need to feel their intensity, or they need to make sure or realize, will you keep the fort while I need to hatch out of my egg. And when I do that process, like when I'm in this boxing process of getting myself out of the cocoon, I need you to hold the fort while I do that, right? And here it's like without it's not real, or it's difficult to tame this. I get almost a feeling of, when I look at her, it becomes a messy business. Let's say that. It becomes a messy business if there's nobody to hold the fort somehow. And again, this can be an internal thing. Maybe in this case, you were in a process where you didn't have the courage, you didn't have the fire, you didn't have the willpower or the confidence to do something. And it kind of became a messy business for you, to tame whatever wild chaos you may have in you here. Again, chaos, or it says taming the wind here, not wild, taming the wind. Still I get, and wind is air, and Libra is air, right? There could be a feeling that there has been unfairness here. And unfairness in a situation, well, It all depends on what perspective you look from. You know, I think that most teenagers, they believe that their existence is very unfair. Because the parent kind of, they're still holding the fort. They may still, you know, keep them in a cocoon state. They may still tell them that they are not grown-ups. They may, you know, because the parents pay for everything. The parents are the one that keeps everything together. So the teenagers, they are in this process of like bouncing out of their childlike state. They want to, you know, test their grown-upness. They want to become more adult. They have different opinions. And the grown-ups, the parents, they may seem that some of these thoughts or beliefs are juvenile, or they don't know enough about the world. They haven't tried it yet. But you know, the taming of this could indicate like a growing need to speak something or to say something, or a different individuated kind of identity shift, maybe within someone here, maybe within yourself, but it takes a sense of confidence, right? It takes a sense of strength to do that, to go through a process here, perhaps, or witnessing it in others. And maybe at this point, either someone was too alone, they had no one to hold the fort, or this is you, that you feel like you didn't have the strength in you, you didn't have the Leo in you to go through some kind of change. Again, taming could indicate that you want to keep it in the cocoon, right? You want to keep it, you know, like, yeah, it's great that you develop your own voice, but inside our home, we have these rules, right? And that's where I feel like teenagers and parents sometimes bounce heads, because the teenagers may feel like the rules are way too limiting. They want to be free. They want to have, you know, more freedom. They want to decide when they go to bed on their own. They want to decide what they're eating. They want to decide when to have friends over. They want to, you know, they expect they can just, you know, take the car perhaps, or everything that's in the home, they just expect it to somehow be theirs. They expect that this is something that, because I've been used to it, right? I've been used to it all the time, and from a parent's perspective, it may seem a bit, well, it could seem like it's a bit ungrateful, or it may seem like it's aggressive, or, you know, that the conversations may seem like it's maybe unnecessary, or it is, you know, I don't want to quarrel with you. I don't want this instability in my home, right? I don't want this new voice of yours. So you could see this voice in someone else trying to develop, and you can either, you know, stand and help it, or you can be set aside because of it, perhaps. And because you love them, it could be difficult. It can be your own voice here, your own mind and your own voice you're trying to tame, to have some kind of change here, and be this justice angel here. Like she would stand here with firm boundaries, and, you know, Where here you may have been, it may have been quite a mess, maybe you didn't have the right boundaries. Maybe, one day you had one opinion and the next day you may change it, and it feels more messy here. It feels more, when I look at her, she has feathers and snail houses. She has pearls. She has different colors. It feels like she has just adapted a lot of stuff here, but maybe none of it is really hers. Like when I see these two standing beside each other, she looks more covered and more covert, more hidden, more messy, and this one looks very clear. And very authentic and very, here I am. Where here she may not know exactly who she is here. Let's have a look at the Justice card here. Yeah, so interesting. So I get Ace of Fire here. And somehow when I look at these cards, the only thing that lights up like that is this, and this is the sword. The sword of truth, the willpower. Ace of Fire it's usually about, and this is the driver that leads to this. So again, it's the fire, right? The fire of Leo here. The fire, the confidence of something. A spark of fire here leads to this. It leads to the hatching of her, I want to say, or the butterfly coming out of the cocoon here. So a spark of fire at some point is leading to this voice here. Like the fire here, like the fire burns for the building of this sword here. And the sword can be, as I said, a sharp tongue. It can be a direct message. It can be a boundary. It can be a sense of integrity. It can be a fierce message. It can be something like that, right? Because that's what justice does. It has the scales that is weighing pros and cons and seeing things from different sides. And then there's the sword that kind of directs the path. Where to go, what choice to make, what's the right ruling, right? So there's a ruling here. Someone could be presenting a ruling. Or a judgment. They could present a judgment. Maybe you see someone become very judgmental suddenly. Maybe you see someone standing there and saying stuff. And it's right in front of you here. Maybe this has been going on for a while, that there has been different discussions or different kind of, and you just see them change here, right in front of your eyes almost, right? That they're just embodying like maybe a way more mature or well-articulated way of like arguing, They could be quite clever here. Very intelligent maybe, or well articulated, you could say, argumentatively, they are very, they have their arguments in place, they have their proof, their facts in place, and it could be like a really outlined, almost lawyer presentation, like they have done the research, they have their facts together, they have their proof, they have almost like a lawyer presentation. Like they have gathered all these kinds of things that you need to put forth an argument or a ruling or a judgment or something, right? And maybe you see that happening just in front of your eyes here, that someone is shifting in front of your eyes. And maybe they haven't been like that before. Maybe it was a bit messy. Maybe it was more childish, but suddenly it's like you may see someone grow up here. You may see someone literally unfold these wings and become very mature and very argumentative and very fact and maybe structured, like argumenting. The argumentation here is for fairness. It's about equality. It's about balance. And it's like a case, like a law case, right? So they have maybe examples, they have proof, they have fact, they have quotes, they have all kinds of maybe they have text messages, they have pictures, they have gathered almost like an entire case study if they should go to the legal system, present a case, you could say. Someone is proving their case with you, perhaps. And they may be able to do so because you have supported them in their individuation process, Or you don't like it. Like maybe you don't like this, that they are standing in front of you. It's like you are here in the background. You stand as a backing system, or like you stand in they're not looking at you. They're looking out here. So they have their orientation maybe to the outside world. And you stand as like the backing system here of something. And maybe this is a choice, maybe you like this, maybe you want this, because whatever they have to say here is something you like. You like this sharp sword. You like this, the way that they are, fiercely maybe presenting a case. Or maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't like it. Like maybe you are almost fearing it. Maybe you don't like the argumentation. Maybe you don't like the, maybe you don't like it. At the bottom of the deck for the Ace of Cups, I get the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is a very solid place. You have everything here. So from a place of, maybe success, as I said, Leo can be in a place where, well, they have succeeded, they have built their business, they have manifested the money, the status, the fame, the spotlight, the followers, the busy network, the money, the busy business life, perhaps here. Ten of Pentacles is where you have, well, everything is there. Everything you can buy is here. I want to say everything is, that could be your a position you've been in at some point, that you could buy anything here. But what you couldn't buy is love, perhaps, and real, true love. So again, from this position, you are moving towards this. This is a driver for this. So from this position, you realize, money can buy me anything. And maybe you did have the money. Like maybe you had, all your life was together, the big house, the BMW in the, or the Mercedes or whatever you had in your driveway, the like fancy business, expensive business suits, and you had a lot of work here to do. You did a lot. You were working a lot. You earned a lot of money. You were quite successful. You had the Ten of Pentacles here. But what you didn't have was maybe this. Or you knew everything about manifesting money. You knew everything about doing your job, but maybe you didn't have, inner feeling of success. Maybe this was a very outer-oriented success here you are looking for. Something money can buy, and then there's something money cannot buy here. Something that takes inner work or devotion or commitment. And you know, I feel like it's almost like watching someone go through a process of change. Of course, it can be a part of yourself here. The Ace of Fire is shown as a lantern here, so maybe you've been looking. The lantern is something that the hermit usually uses when he goes through the dark forest to look for answers. He has a lantern with him. But this can just also be a little spark. A spark in you that it's time for someone to, maybe they have, as I said, an angry teenager. An angry teenager can be someone who is fed up with the rules, fed up with the curfews, fed up with, I don't know, whatever decisions you may have outlined for the family life perhaps. And they want to stand on their own 2 feet. Maybe they bring forth here, like a message that I'm moving out. Or I want more balance between us. I want you to respect me more. I want you to see me as a full person. I want you to see as like I am my own person. I am a full-blown woman here, or I am a full-blown version of myself. And I have this sword here that, it burns, like a burning message here, perhaps. Like a burning message, perhaps here, that I want to put forth, right? What is this sword about? Can we have this burning sword? Like the burning sword can, it could be a direction, like someone is choosing a path. I've made a choice, right? The sword is usually about air, communication, a message, a choice, a path, perhaps. So like this could be if this literally is about the legal system, you could be watching someone who is going through like a process, a legal process, and you're just the one standing behind watching it. And you may see how they kind of, they experience this, what emotions they may have, they go through it, they feel maybe exposed, or something like that. But you can't really do much, right? You have to let them go through that process to face whatever comes, to face whatever ruling may come here. But I feel like it's almost like a burning sword. A burning sword for me could indicate, something you have that has been held back. Like it burns so much now that you have to throw it on the table and say it and get it out. Otherwise it keeps burning you in there. But again, it's this individuation thing. Like if you if you feel like you are under someone else's rules or rulings, or under, you know, the roof of someone else, and you kind of have to, you live there, and but you're growing your own voice, and you want to be more independent, you want to be able to stretch your wings and be able to speak your mind without criticism, or, you know, like that you are forced back into the cocoon by this outer force somehow. That's what I feel like. There's this need to spread your wings and show up in your real self. And there could be almost like this burning message of, like, you know, eventually it almost becomes like a bit of an eruption. Like finally I actually stand here and I speak like, ugh, like I have to get it out somehow. What is this sword about? This burning sword here. Fire can be, you know, go-get energy. It can be, I have my own vision of life. I want to go pursue this. You know, I want to be, I don't know, I want to be an actor. And you come from a line of family that is academics, for instance. And you would like them to pursue a very solid job like that. Because you know that it can bring this, right? You know that it can bring in a lot of money. But they may come in with like a burning voice here that says, but I don't want to go to college or university. I want to be an artist. I want to pursue my music. I want to do this or that, right? And you're witnessing that, like witnessing this maybe sudden grown person standing there and being very decisive about how they see the world and what they want. So let's have a look at this sword here. What is this sword about, this burning sword? So I get action here. Fire is definitely action, usually action, right? And we have kind of a yin and yang aspect here as well, white and black yin and yang aspect. So that could be something about the, well, it could be, we see how usually we say that in yin and yang, the white element is the masculine, and the dark element is the feminine. And here we see the masculine in charge, or he is in front, and the feminine could kind of just, you know, follow. So it could be, you know, that someone may ask you to lead, to not be behind, but to lead. It could be the other way around, that they would like to lead here, and they're asking you to be more of a support to their endeavor. That could be the equality they ask for. That can you also support me, right? Will you support me here? Would you stay if I become we could talk about, let's say, a situation where, let's say that at some point the feminine here was supporting the masculine's education, for instance. As I said before, giving back. You know, like maybe at some point, you know, the feminine was working and the other one was attending some kind of education. An education that was supposed to bring forth money here. So it was like an investment, a couple where someone was working, you know, and supporting the other while they were studying, for instance. And now it could be the other way around. Like I said something about giving back, something about giving back. Like what they could be asking for here is that I need you to support me. I need you to support me while I go through some kind of transformation, while I change my cards or you could say, my tools or my knowledge. That this talks about I need to go through a knowledge exchange or a knowledge change. I need to educate myself, and I would like you to support me here, right? Will you support me while I go through my exchange? Will you do that? And they may have done that at some point here. They may have helped you with something here, some kind, maybe a heart healing or something, or confidence or something here. They may have helped you with something, and they could be asking you, they are looking for some kind of ability to shift their skin also. And they could be asking you, that could be the burning question here also. The burning question that in the name of equality or in the name of fairness, I'm now asking you to support me. Right? I'm asking you to be the one that is supporting me while I go through my transformation. And when I finish this, and I actually become this lawyer or whatever this is, will you accept that I now work many, many hours? I work 80 hours a week, and you become the stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, Like, it could be some kind of situation like that. Are you willing to be the one that is not in the spotlight? Will you let me be in the spotlight here? Will you let me, like if we share responsibility here, can you let me be the one that is, again, in front of you? Like in front of you. So you become the backing system, or you become the one that takes care of the home or the children, or you step in the background for me. You step in the background for me because I do my thing here. Will you do that? That's, I think, something like that. Something about giving back, or I think there is something about like giving back to, or potentially someone is asking you to shift your roles, like, you have been working 60 hours a week and you've earned money here. But now I would actually like you to step into a different role here. Maybe you take care of the children at home. Maybe you are the one who does that, or we could even say that this is just something like, once work was very important, now we have reached retirement, and now work is not as important. It becomes something that is in the background. Like all these ambitions that came with work, they are in the background now because my body is changing. I'm not 20 anymore. My body is going through a change, and it could be that maybe I will end up prioritizing something more feminine here, something more balanced in my life. I have to put my ambitions in the background because, well, maybe I do want a different balance. Maybe Libra here is a spouse. Maybe this is another person, and my ambitions, I put them in the background to now enhance her, like my time with her, my love here for her. You know, or it's an internal thing that you just know you have to relax a bit more. Your pace, you slow your pace down perhaps. It's time to relax more. So your ambitions, they may, you know, like shift. It may be shifted into the background. The fame and the, you know, these things that they kind of go into the background, and something else is now in the forefront. Something else is something you have your focus on. You're focusing on something else than maybe your ambition, or that this is another person, right? And your ambitions, they are now focused on whatever that is. This person going through something, a child going through something. And I feel it's, yeah, it could be like an individuation process, like a, you know, like a teenager in the house that is just causing this turmoil perhaps because they, you know, they want to grow, they need more space, they need to like spread their wings, speak their mind, have their, be free perhaps here, right? Be like free horses that can just, yeah, play differently perhaps, right? Maybe there is this, you know, like this could be a feeling of competition, a race. Who wins this race, right? Between masculine and feminine energy, and maybe someone is saying no here. Like maybe they don't wanna, you know, race. Maybe they don't wanna compete. Maybe they don't wanna be in that race anymore. Maybe this is a thing between your ego mind and your body. Like you have your ego that wants to climb mountains and win the Olympics, you know. And then you have your body that says, no, it's too much. I don't want to do this. So that could also be what this Venusian energy is about, that something is stating something very clearly here. Like with a lot of fire. It comes in with like an eruption. I don't know. I don't hope we talk about like a spling or something, or like you know, something in your body that erupts in some way. But you know, like if the body speaks like that, it's like we have to listen to it. So it could be an ego body thing. Where you have a lot of ambitions and all kinds of stuff you want to do, but for some reason you have to put it in the background because something else is in the foreground right now. It's more important. It requires your focus, right? Something like that. And it's about shifting a skin, showing maybe a more pink underbelly, maybe a vulnerability or something within yourself or someone else, a shift you're going through or someone else is going through and you're witnessing it. And it could be a bit of a brutal message or a very clear message about some kind of fairness, that this is not a game or it's not about winning, like who comes first. Maybe we should just, you know, be beside each other here. We should move beside each other forward, right? Instead of that it's a competition. That if I help you, you can help me, and if you help me, I help you. So instead of like a competition, maybe if we join hands here, right? We join hands and we move forward together, like a joint venture, instead of this like like a side-by-side kind of life, perhaps, a side-by-side life. We could join hands here and we could move together. Maybe that's what this is, that someone is, as I said, they could change just in front of your eyes. Like this could be like a shift just like that. Maybe you've never seen them act like this before. Like this could be with like a timeline. Like they could literally give you a date. Like it could be that, like that message could be that outlined. It could come in with like a deadline. Something like, okay, you want to be on your own 2 feet. Okay, you move out then. Maybe this discussion here is about, okay, you want your own space. You want okay, you get your own space then. You move out by the end of the month. You know, something like that. Or like what they are asking for here, either you're supporting it, you see what they're, like they present a case, as I said, they present a case and maybe you're convinced, like what they're saying, maybe you're convinced, like it convinces you, or you accept to work with it, or you accept the fairness or the balance of it. Maybe you realize that whatever you have been going through here and what is happening in front of you, or if this is literally happening in your own body, that it is for harmony. Like the reason why this happens is because a bigger harmony is supposed to, or a bigger balance is supposed to come into your life. But you know, sometimes our ego doesn't agree with that balance. Sometimes we want more in life. We expect more. We require more. We ask for more. We seek more. And then maybe it's the body that tells us, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this right now. Can I have one more card on the serpent here? So I get Earth Magic. It talks about fearlessness and removing obstacles. This card came up in Cancer reading also. Fearlessness, shifting skin, becoming fearless, removing obstacles, so speaking a truth perhaps, becoming a bit more of a warrior. And this can be you, but it could also be someone else. As I said, someone you're witnessing, that they are going through some kind of process, becoming more fearless. Again, the fire, building the fire, right? If you fear something, you do not have necessarily the fire to, you could say, break through the fear. Fire can be bravery, right? It can be determination to overcome something. It can be a force of nature that drives you forward. But if you are fearful, maybe you lack that. Again, the confidence to do something. The fearlessness here is you breach the fear. You breach through the fear, or you face the fear, and you do things anyway. That's how you break through the fear. You do it anyway. And eventually, if you have done it enough times, you will become more fearless. and you will be able to remove certain obstacles here. And I think that I think that whatever this is, it's something where you need to break through certain fears, perhaps, or you have to touch upon subjects that are touchy, something we may not confront normally, but in this relationship we do. We have to. Otherwise, we will never find a balance here. We will never find this. Again, we can walk we can walk beside each other, but we could hold hands. And if we hold hands, we will be stronger, right? We have each other. We are backing each other, for instance. And if we do that, it's a stronger walk, you could say, than if we are apart. For either of us, right? For either of us, it's a more lonely journey. If we somehow hold hands here, in some way find some kind of balance with each other, it will be a stronger path forward. If we can find common ground, if we can find a pace that soothes all of us, if we are fearless here and we are willing to remove the obstacles, and again, look at it, how we have the sun in the background here, and someone is becoming this one. Like you see someone become fearless. You see how they move through obstacles, how they become again, I feel independent, right? I feel like they become richer, stronger. They get out of the cocoon. They become this butterfly. They spread their wings. They take off here. Again, they ride on the horse here, It could be anything. Let's say this is just someone, from someone taking a driver's license. So before they needed your assistance, before they needed you to drive them, perhaps drive them to school or drive them somewhere, and now because they now have a vehicle of their own here, you don't have to, right? Like suddenly you see them become more independent. You see them interact out there alone. They are now out there, and you are not necessarily needing to hold this fort anymore. You don't need to be there. Maybe you're just doing your part from the background, knowing that, well, I'm still here if you need me, right? But I know that you are capable. I know that you can go out there. I know that you will find your path. I know I'm just supporting you in that, right? It's not a competition. So again, we could have something like father-son here. Like maybe at some point, you see your son, surpass you. You see your son be more clever here than you. You see them be more informed. You see them, surpass you. You see them being stronger than you. You see them, or that this could talk about, a shift in a business, perhaps. So if you have a son here, it could be something like that you are the one who owns the business, right? And you have been in charge of this business, but you want to retire or you want less hours. And you're seeing someone here going through some kind of change to actually be capable of becoming the new CEO or CFO, or like take in a leadership position in the firm, and you are now standing just in the background of it, kind of just witnessing everything like a board member or something. and you're just letting them take over, like the next generation takes over. But witnessing or maybe thinking about it, like once they were in diapers, right? My little child was in diapers. They were crawling around there, And now they stand here like a full-blown lawyer, or they take over our company, our family business. Like it could be, you think about the transformation. You think about how far they have come, or that they are ready, right? That they are ready, they separate from you now, they shift their skin, they are no longer under your charge, they are no longer a child. They actually stand full-blown here with their own, integrity or autonomy, even if they are just a young person, a young new adult. You're just witnessing them standing there and then thinking about, wow, once they were in diapers, right? But you were also once in diapers, Leo, right? So it's, and this whole potential, like from this little child in diapers, right, to the potential, the magnitude of what that person can create in this world. Like that is enormous, right? And it all depends on maybe how you treat them, right? How they are treated. Is there support? And if there's no support here, it becomes messy. It tries to tame itself. If there's no, support, it tries to tame itself, but it's difficult without it, without a mirror or without guidance, and without this feeling that I have your back here, right? I have your back. You are safe here. So you make your transformation, you change, you get the education, you go through this change, you grow, you evolve, you expand, and I have your back, right? And I think, Leo, like you can really be this generous. You are extremely powerful if you know it and you own it, and you have been given your own individuation process as a young child or as a teenager, that this was successful. Then you could be that generous. You could be that big of a person, you could say. Because it doesn't change you. Like you are still in integrity. You still stand in your power. You can lend this to someone else who was not given that process perhaps, who was not given an opportunity to individuate. You could lend them this extra space or money perhaps, or whatever it takes to somehow make them grow, make them become fearless here, make them take off on their horse here, make them capable of removing or figuring out how to move whatever obstacles may come in their way, make them adaptable to life. You can easily lend them a hand, even if you are retired, even if you are, you're not even working anymore. You're not in the board here. You're not a board member. You're not working anymore. You still have knowledge. You still have maybe wisdom. You still have things to offer. And again, we see how it is in the background here. How important this is, like the sun, that the sun is backing everything. Father energy is extremely important to both mothers, sons and daughters. Very important about this idea of confidence, to be able to go out there in the world and succeed somehow. This is where the Leo energy actually really can shine. It lends its energy to others that may need to be more fearless, that may need to work on their confidence, that may need to feel supported, And when you do that, you can actually bring forth people here. You can help people bring forth their potential with integrity, you know. I don't know if there's like, and that is a way of helping humanity, not just your son and daughter perhaps, but actually helping humanity. Because if this one was never brought forward, if this lawyer perhaps never hatched and decided to become the lawyer or the freedom fighter or whatever this is, if this never hatched, you know, it doesn't show up in the world. It hides. You know? So that could be a way of giving back also. You may have gotten your money, right? You may have gotten all this, you know, but a way of giving back is supporting others in their potential. Everybody has potential, but not everybody brings it out. Some are afraid to do so. Some have no funding. Some have no money. They can't go to college. They can't go to. So maybe you have like a hard quest here of wanting to, you know, make a difference in like a different way in life. Like maybe you want to see something grow like a heart project. Not a money project, but a heart project that you want to grow. You want to see it grow. You want to see the potential of children being given, you know, like that the potential of them can actually come forth. We can see this lawyer. We can see this butterfly. We can let them fly. We can let them evolve and expand and show themselves and sing. And whatever they are doing here, right? Whatever they are doing, yeah, it's something like that. Someone, you know, you may have had a mother who was very kind, who cared about you and who was, you know, nurturing to your self-esteem and your heart, you know. And maybe you realize that this is one of the reasons why you may have been able to actually go out there and do your stuff and succeed and be individuated and go towards your goal, right? But you may also realize that some people don't have that. They grow up in different households. They may not have this, but they still have potential, right? They still have this maybe dimmed potential that has never gotten to grow, that has never gotten to show itself, that has never gotten to trust in itself also. And for that to happen, it needs a space. It needs like an arena to grow in, a supportive place where this can grow. And maybe that's what you decide, right? I could be that one. I could be this one, holding this space for them, ensuring them that this is going to be fine, ensuring them they can do this. Maybe even lending them money here to start a project or something. And what you love to do is to see them actually shine here, right? To see them take that action or be able to take action in life, right? That you encourage them to find this path, this voice, to take action, to go out there, to embrace the fire, to build the fire, and to choose to take some kind of action towards something. Speak their mind, trust in it, and go towards it, right? Yeah, I get a feeling of something like giving back to something, giving back to the community, giving back to, I don't know, a local gym club perhaps, you know, or Maybe you become a coach here. Maybe a sports coach or some other kind of coach. And what you're doing here is that you're helping them tame something here. Taming something, directing it, like giving it a direction in some way. Helping it, focus it in and give it direction. With the right amount of support or opportunities or people, you can use some of your own network. You can use some of the people around you that is already there. Something you've already gotten this perhaps, right? And that is the reason. So you could say you have more, and you can lend a hand to, I don't know, kids on the street, or because there's still potential there. Even though it has never been given opportunity, it has never been supported, it has never had any opportunity to grow or expand, it's still there. And with the right amount of backing or support, you will see it come out. Like a new soccer or football talent. That you see someone, right, they are struggling, they have the talent perhaps, but they don't know how to focus it. And you're just seeing, okay, I could actually give them a sense of stability here. And if I do that, I can see them grow here. I could see them succeed. And that could now be my contribution to the world, right? Something like that. I do get a sense of stronger family dynamics, something about like a wife or perhaps if you are a female lion here, a female Leo, it could be your husband, right? Where you are like you are these characters here that are, it's not a competition you are in, but it could be a good thing if you could work together here, right? It could be a child. Your child, it could be a nephew, a niece or something, but something in as I said, it could be a coach and you are coaching children perhaps, but there's something about like the cocoon and the butterfly, so I feel like I'm like children, teenager, young adults, something about like hatching something. And it's so apparent, right, with these cards here, where the sun is in the background here of these cards, and something else is in the forefront. It's like you put, like maybe the attention you have tried to build around yourself, now it's like you are putting someone else there. And you put your embrace around them in all the way back to the Aries reading. I talked about this, like this warm blanket that is put around someone while they are trying to individuate, or while they are trying to, build their autonomy. That there's this warm blanket around them that just kind of holds them there while they are trying to figure something out about who they are and their own willpower and where they want to go, and something kind of just, softly just warm embrace of something. It's kind of the same thing here. I feel like there's this, like some would say just a soft containment, not to direct or steer or control, just to keep the fort, and then something is going on in here. It's trying to figure itself out, right? Taming this wild thing here. Maybe taming the wind or a wild beast in you, temper or something, right? To eventually be able to walk out here fully embodied, knowing exactly who they are, with a strong sense of fire, a direction perhaps, and you know, like an assertive voice, you know, something like that, and that's what I get here, something like that. So you could be that one. Like you could create this blanket, the warm blanket that just kind of holds the fort for something else to figure itself out and hatch and mold and something. While it is growing and preparing and differentiate and, you know, testing and whatever it's doing. This all can be just like your own internal, you know, like your own internal process. But somehow I feel like it's with something, I feel it's with something else. Or it will be stronger in that way. Like if here alone, it's not the same. If you are somehow testing or doing whatever you're doing up against something, or with someone, it will be a stronger or a better, perhaps, because this requires trust, you know. Like if someone holds the fort, the one in it that is going through a process of change perhaps, or transformation, they need to trust the outer containment or the blanket. That it's not just disappearing, you know. Like they need to trust that this is a stable process that is willing to stay for a while I'm kind of figuring something out. Becoming a parent, you know, at least for the next 18 years, you have to be that containment here. You have to be the blanket. Or someone has to. While something is growing from the diapers, you know, and molding itself and becoming an individual person here that can actually stand on their own 2 feet. You could even say justice about something like knowing what's right and wrong, or like a good or a bad choice to make, or a rational choice, or like a sensible choice or something. Being assertive, knowing your boundaries, having integrity, or, you know, being like this integrated person that can go out there and deal with the world, right? They may, again, as I say, they look away from the sun. The sun is behind them. They look away from it. But they have to go out there with confidence. They have to go out there feeling that they have value. They have something, they're worthy of respect and bound, you know, like to be accepted, that they matter. And all that integrity, all this autonomy comes from the support they get. Or do not get, and then they will lack it. They will be codependents. They will not know how to stand on their 2 feet, and a lot of potential is dimmed, hidden, and never will be able to come to the forefront. But if a Leo can see that, if a Leo can be that big of a person, to accept your own integrity and what you stand for, and you can actually witness someone else, someone maybe very different than you, go through their own process here to figure out who they are. You know, and you can just stand there and kind of support it, be the one that holds the fort here, because it's all right. You don't see them as a challenge. You don't see them as, it's not a competition again. It's not a competition. Right? We could walk hand in hand here with each other, side by side. that would be a better choice than being competitors here. But again, it depends on what kind of glasses you wear and what angle you look from, right? But this is what I have for this reading. So this is rather specific. Either you recognize this in your life or you don't. It's, yeah, that's what I feel like. The child in diapers is an not yet activated potential. There are enormous amount of opportunities within a little child, and it depends on how you treat it, whether that potential actually rises. Maybe you realize that, like, if you have been giving like a really supportive background and childhood, you may have been able to like rise to the occasion, actually, build something here, But you also know that this is not something everyone experiences. And this could be a way of giving back. Yeah, I get a feeling of like giving back, wanting to give back something. Be there for someone else. Maybe put your own ambition aside. Your own personal, maybe selfish even ambition aside, to see someone else grow, right? Like that your children, that you actually want your children to succeed, that you're willing to somehow put your own ambition aside and take your time to invest in them, to give them this attention, to support them, to actually see them grow and develop into like a capable adult, young adult, who may be very different than you. Like they could be very different. They may have different opinions. They may, their compass may lead them somewhere entirely different than you. But still, they feel purpose. They feel passion. They have a path to go towards. They want to, they strive towards something. And that's a good thing, right? But again, it depends, of course, from which kind of angle you look. It's not a competition. You can be totally different, and one goes in one way and one goes in another way. But as long as you support each other, as long as you see, okay, my friend wants to go in towards finance, and I have another one who is an actor, but we can still be friends, right? We can still support each other. We can still love each other. We can still support each other's career. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that somehow they feel successful. Somehow they feel like they have a good footing, that they know how to move forward. They feel capable. They feel like they can bring something to the world. That's what matters. This is what I feel like. So I don't know, maybe you are like Leo, maybe you've been going through a process where you're shifting some kind of perspective. Like from 10 of Pentacles to the Ace of Cups, like this is earthy and water. There are different perspectives here. And like wanting to give something back, wanting to lend a hand offer support. But again, not necessarily, not necessarily that, not unrequited advice, or unsolicited advice. It's not like you just feed them with a lot of your own stuff. No, you're actually looking at them. You're looking at their potential. You're looking at what is going to make them hatch. Not my ambition. Not what I would do. Not how I would go about in life. Not how I would solve it. I'm looking at them. Their wind here. Their mind. Their worldview. Their angle. And trying to figure out how can I somehow support them in this process where they are moving in a totally different direction than me, but I'm still going to be there to somehow hold the fort here for them, be this blanket, I may not understand them. I may not even understand what their intelligence is here. Again, this can be an entirely different area that you have no knowledge about. You may not know anything about this, but they do, right? They do. They know something. And you are maybe just, accepting it. You may accept it and think, okay, they have a competence, like they have some kind of knowledge in this area. I'm going to support it and see what happens. I'm going to make them, to see if I can make them stand like this. And then I will see what kind of potential they bring forth here. How can they impact the world? What are they going to do? Again, maybe your little child in diapers become a Supreme Court judge here, right? There's endless opportunities, endless possibilities and potential with the little child in diapers. We don't know where it's going. We don't know where it's supposed to land. We don't know its compass. We can only support it. Yeah, this is what I have for you, Leo. I hope this helps somehow. Take care of yourself out there. I send you my very best. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.